Mr. Gomez, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe that this markup should be focused on the needs of the working class and the middle class. And one of the biggest issues facing not only them, but the entire country is the housing affordability crisis. Americans voted for serious change and relief from high prices, not giving tax breaks to billionaires and Fortune 500 companies, paid for by slashing essential programs for workers and families like Medicaid and SNAP. Americans are concerned about affordability and how rising prices are making it increasingly difficult to achieve the American dream. A key part of that dream is home ownership. Last year, a survey indicated that 67% of Americans now believe home ownership is an unrealistic milestone for young people. And here's the thing. There's a high correlation if people believe that they can buy a house and believing that the American dream and the system actually works for them. Home prices are skyrocketing, and rising prices on everything from childcare to groceries are making it harder for young Americans to save for a down payment. The median home price is now $416,900. That is nearly a 30% jump over the last 5 years. Meanwhile, median household income in the United States in 2023 was about $80,610. That means more than 50% of American households will need more than an entire year of income before taxes for a 20% down payment. In California, the median listing price is now $767,000. And in Los Angeles, that number is over $1 million. The prices of housing is far outstripping wage growth or even inflation. This is clearly a crisis. President Trump ran on a plank of making housing more affordable, and yet Republicans do almost nothing in this massive tax giveaway that would help Americans buy a home. Creating $1,000 tax-free investment accounts for young children that could be used for a down payment is too little and far too late, especially for millennials and Gen Z Americans who are trying to buy a house for their families right now. That is why I'm proposing an amendment that would use our tax code to boost home ownership, but not only helping first-time home buyers afford a down payment, but also helping stimulate the building of starter homes these first-time buyers could afford. Specifically, my amendment will allow eligible first-time home buyers to claim a credit of up to nearly $65,000 towards down payment or closing costs. This credit would be advanceable at the time of closing, deposited directly into the escrow account. Additionally, my amendment would establish a credit to incentivize the construction of reasonably sized starter homes that are affordable, allowing states to allocate credits to developers equivalent to 15% of qualified construction costs towards an eligible starter home, which would be boosted to 30% if the developer can certify that that starter home was sold to a first-time home buyer. This is a substantial investment by our government in young Americans and the American dream. For far too long, Republicans have lacked the courage to seriously invest in housing for working and middle-class Americans. If we can find the money to give tax breaks to billionaires and massive corporations, we should be able to find the money to help average Americans own a home. And here's the thing, I recognize that there is a lot more to do. We got to cut the red tape at the local level that helps spur the creation of new units. We need to make sure that we protect renters who are on the verge of missing a rent payment and may end up on the streets. We also have to make sure that this is not a boondoggle. But if we want to deal with the housing affordability crisis, it has to be bigger than the 200,000 units that would be created over the low-income housing tax credit, that provision that was in this bill. Because we are short about 4 million units. If we want to be serious about this crisis, we got to create a housing boom that we haven't seen since the end of World War II when the troops were coming home. We got to tackle it like we would the construction of the interstate highway system. We got to make sure that we can do this. 1 million new units of housing a year for the next 10 years. And I am working on with some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle that will help convert underutilized commercial and office real estate to housing. Here's the thing. It's not a blue state or just a blue city issue. I'm working on on this bill with Mr. Kerry from Ohio on that bill. And that's a good bill, but that's a red state and a red city. And I had conversations with others on this committee. So I know that we can tackle this problem if we work together. I ask for an aye vote.
Further discussion on the amendment?